looks incredible as well. Think about new guys coming in. Remember, as we talked about these freshmen, this is something that stood out to me as well. Look at the top left, okay? Bubba Hampton came in at 175. He put on 19 pounds, okay? Zay Mincy went from 180 to 204. That's 24 pounds. Okay, and the big thing that took everybody by surprise was Kadyn Proctor there at the bottom left of your screen, being from 360 to 369. Now, we have to look at this one and talk about it for just a second. Kadyn Proctor was probably, I don't know. I mean, it looked like he was playing close to maybe 400 pounds. And I think he's kind of gone through a lot of body transformation. Now, him playing at 369 pounds, I think that's added muscle. To me, that's added muscle. The guy looks great, to be honest. I mean, you've seen him out there. He looks slimmed down. I mean, the guy is just a massive human. But I think, like, his belly, like, he looks better shape. Would you guys agree with that? From the clips that you've seen, the photos out there, he posted a photo yesterday on social media next to Olas Allen, and the guys look good, okay? So, and as you know, if you've lifted weights, when you add muscle, you gain weight, and that's okay. And I think he's going to be still athletic enough to play that left tackle position. By the way, he's back repping with the first team. Like Jahad Campbell, yeah, I mean, this isn't fair. To go from 230 to 244 at the inside linebacker, man, like him and Deontay Lawson, I think Deontay Lawson's up there like 240 as well. Those are inside backers, and they still maintain that athleticism. And Cody's asking, I thought he lost weight. I think what happened was he added muscle. So, you lose that belly fat and you gain muscle. I think it's going to be positive. I'm talking about Kadyn Proctor. On the right, you have Tyler Booker. It's like the third from the bottom. He lost 27 pounds. Now, he did lose weight. He's playing at 352. I mean, some of these guys were playing too heavy last year. Remember, everybody was hyping up Alabama's offensive line last year, saying these guys are going to be the heaviest and the biggest, and they're bigger than the NFL. Well, the NFL has already figured out that doesn't work. So I think those guys trimming down makes sense. So I can't wait to see the new offensive line. I mean, they already look good to me. And with Kadyn Proctor going back to the left tackle position, I'm happy about it. You got Tyler Booker. You got Parker Brailsford. By the way, Parker Brailsford, look at him. He went from 275. We were talking about he looked too light when he came in. He's up to 290 pounds. Jaden Roberts, I think he put on some weight as well. And then you have Wilcom Formby at the right tackle position. So, yeah, offensive line's looking good, making gains. I like it. How about Noah Carter coming in as a freshman? And think about, like, Noah Carter, for example, who's up on the right side of this. He came in at 220. He's already put on 22 pounds. That's wild. Same thing with, like, Ryan Williams. You see, he came in at 165. He's at 175. It's amazing. Think about the diet, nutrition that Alabama has to get these players. I mean, because, for example, like Noah Carter and Ryan Williams, these guys just got here in June. You're telling me in, less than 3 months they're able to put on 22 pounds of muscle? How about Drake Kirkpatrick? I mean, he was an early spring enrollee. He went from, hey, Patriot Life with the big super spot, man. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Man, Patriot Life, you've been amazing to us. Thank you so much for being one of our top supporters right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Drake Kirkpatrick goes from 192 to 210, putting on 18 pounds. He got here in the spring. Man. Caden Jones went from 170 to 192. Casey Poe put on 32 pounds. Man, Jay Lindsey, how about him? 235 to 255. Shoot. I think Jalen Milroe is probably, I mean, it says, remember there was like that huge discrepancy where people were talking about like these heights and weights were like kind of off or what? I don't know. I mean, I've been right next to Jalen Milroe. He looks like he's 230. And the dude is like shred. He's a big human. And I think he's the fastest player on the team. Yonze Pierre, up to 239 pounds plus 16. How about Richard Young? Let me ask you this before I get off the heights and weights. Okay, Richard Young at 216 pounds. Who is a good running back that you think he could be comparable to? Someone said a couple days ago, and I keep on talking about this, Bo Scarborough. Seems like a pretty good comparison, right? I like it. But that's my reaction. It's amazing to me that these guys can put on that much weight in a short amount of time. It is harder to put on weight than it is to lose weight. 100%. Like, if you're trying to get your mind right and you're trying to add muscle, that is harder than losing weight, in my opinion. Jahad Campbell at 244, Deontay Lawson like 240. Whew. Inside linebackers be flying. How about James Burnham, the punter, from 220 to 2? He put on 16 pounds, the punter? Man, that is wild. The punter put on 16 pounds. James Burnham, the best punter in the country. All right. If you guys want to call into the show today, 205-850-1994. I appreciate you guys. We do have a caller. Well, I'll take it in just a second. I want to talk about one more thing before I get to my calls. So when you call in, we can talk about the heights and weights, right, and the weight gains. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, and you can be patient on the call line, 205-850-1994. The other thing was, did you see this? Saban Field? Okay, so Greg Byrne, the athletic director of Alabama, he posted this morning. He said, walking the stadium this morning. By the way, I ran those stadium stairs before. Once you get up to like the very, very top, it's kind of scary how high it is, right? What's up, Cody? I appreciate you being here, man. So look at the field. The field looks amazing. And this is the field shape on the right for A-Day. Remember, it's Saban Field now, which I love. And the field was rough because, and how they put this, the University of Alabama said, we have to make sure that the field can go the length of the season now that college football has changed. Meaning, like, if Alabama hosts a playoff game, right, the field has to be, they have to basically, like, have the sod ready for later in the fall, going into, like, the winter. How about this? The coaches poll reads like this, and it just came out. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State, Florida State. That's the top 10. In my opinion, the teams that are overrated, Notre Dame, Penn State, Florida State, Miami. Okay? I'm not buying any of those teams in that category. The same thing happens every single year with Notre Dame, and it's like the media darling. People want them to be good. I've expressed my reason. It's because when we were little and we used to turn on the TV, it would get us excited. It's like kind of like going to Disney World. Notre Dame is Disney World. It looks nice, it's fun, but when you get there and you start to play, it's not. How many of you been to Disney World, and as soon as you get there with the kids, you're just like, you just want to get the hell out of there, right? It's crazy. Penn State. I don't buy it. Nope. I'm not going to buy Penn State. It's the same thing. They don't beat Ohio State. They don't beat Michigan. I'm not buying them as well. Florida State. What's up, Bama hater? I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Florida State. I'm not buying it as well. I appreciate what Mike Norvell did. Last season, we talked about how, the end of the season happened for Florida State, and it looked like he was pretty damn close to being Alabama's football coach, too. I'm just not buying it. I love Roydell Williams. I don't think it, man. And then let's see. Miami. That's Bama Hater's team. Bama Hater, what's up, man? He likes Miami. Look, Mario Cristobal seems like a good dude, and he has a lot of things going for him. I'm not buying that either. Am I wrong? Who are you? Who are the overrated teams, in your opinion, in that top 20? And check out this. Look, everybody's going to get punched in the mouth this season. That's why I always talk about, like, the teams that Bama plays. Look, Georgia, Missouri, LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma. I kind of think Oklahoma might be a little bit underrated. I didn't put up an underrated. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's underrated. But Missouri, and they play LSU, those last three that they play, those are on the road. By the way, for the Auburn fans that are here, Auburn is not ranked in the top 25. And I put up a video recently, a month ago, talking about all these things that were going wrong with Auburn. And Auburn, has been going to that video, and they're like, man, because they're getting some recruits. That's cool. but they still got to win. You still got to win games, which they're not even in the top 25. All right. 205-850-1994 if you want to talk about any of those topics. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for being here. We'll go to Chris right now on the phone lines. Chris, what's up, man? It's been a minute. I appreciate you being here. Welcome to the show, man. The football season is inching closer, and I appreciate you rocking with us. Thanks again, Patriot Life, for hooking us up with the Super Chat and the Fan Funders. Chris from New Jersey on the show, man. Welcome on in.
Kyle, happy summer, or should I say happy summer camp? I am. Let's just say I'm very excited. I'm almost giddy. Let's talk a subject I love. We haven't spoken in a little bit, but Kadyn Proctor 360 last year. That's silly, Kyle. Look at go and pull up one picture on the internet that says Kadyn Proctor against Michigan. He was over 400 pounds.
I agree.
He has lost. That's a lot of weight loss. And let me tell you something about Tyler Booker, who he's my favorite player. And he was about 375, 380 last year. So he's way down. So there's another subject. I talk about Ryan Williams, and let me tell you something. If he's 175 right now, Schmitty, our Heisman Trophy winner, he probably wasn't 175 his entire time at Alabama, and he's getting paid in the NFL by Philadelphia, team I can't stand, unfortunately. But I'm just so excited. I think Kyle, did your friend Chris say something about Kadyn Proctor starting on day one a couple months ago? I was just checking. I can't remember. I might have said something. Like
You did. And what I put Kadyn Proctor the other day. I have this slide, and I called it my camp risers. And what I meant by that was basically kind of and I wanted to put kind of respect to Kadyn Proctor, because it takes a man to be like, look, I was wrong. I shouldn't have left. I'm coming back home. And, and Alabama did it right. And they didn't make him wait. They were like, okay, come back. He probably talked to the leadership council. He was like, look, I want to be a part of this team. I want to come back. And now he's driving with the first team. So I threw him on a camp riser because even though people are freaking out about his weight, I think it's a good weight transformation for him. And I think, he's going to be in the NFL sooner than later. But at 370, he's a massive human.
Oh God, he is. I want to. I don't want to totally change the subject, but the video you posted of Sheridan's presser. I implore everybody go back and pull up that presser that Kyle posted. Right, look at his face. He's like fighting off giddiness. He has never had talent even close to this in his entire coaching career. Never. He is fighting off a smirk. Look at the video, Kyle. And he is beside himself that he's got these running backs, he's got these tight ends, he's got all these wide receivers. And Milroe, let me just say this. I have been, I've been on the Milroe camp for a long, long time, but I wasn't in the beginning, and I came clean and said I was wrong. And by the way, he has quickly moved up to my second favorite player. Those interviews, he is so mature now. He is so poised. How can you not like this guy? He is so likable, Kyle.
Oh, no.
But let me just say this. Forget being likable. Forget looking like the Hulk. Look at the balls he's throwing in practice. He is throwing like NFL darts now. NFL darts, Kyle. I mean, everybody go and look. And I'll say this. I think it's clear that Milrose throws the best ball, and then I think Ty Simpson is just a little bit below that, but still throws a great ball. Those two are heads above the other quarterbacks. So everybody, we can talk about Austin Mack. He's going to get passed up by the new freshman coming in. Those guys. Don't be surprised if that Austin Mack and the other guy, they're gone. We're happy we have them right now, but they do not throw a ball like Milroe or Ty Simpson. Look, there's Ty Simpson. You're showing the video right now.
You know what was interesting? So
but,
this
I mean,
this
how could
particular
we not be excited?
this clip right here. I think I think it was Clint Lamb on social media. He pointed out that you had Jahad Campbell, Deontay Lawson, and Justin Jefferson on the field at the same time, which was amazing to me. I didn't see that. But what stood out to me even more was that Justice Haynes was still running right through the defense. So I was like, damn, like if you
burned them.
Yeah, but they didn't show the rest of the clip. So these clips that I'm showing, they're chopped up from the University of Alabama because they don't want you to see everything that they put out. But there's Ryan Williams right there. But I was thinking, I was like, damn, if you have Justin Jefferson, Deontay Lawson, and Jahad Campbell on the field, you should be able to stop anybody. So that kind of tells you how talented Justice Haynes is, right, as a player.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, somebody asked me if I had
wait, before I go.
I wanted to ask you before you go too. Somebody asked me if I talked about the AP polls. I haven't talked about the AP polls. I don't think the AP polls came out, but I did talk about the coaches poll. Here, the coaches poll. Chris, I don't know if you had any time to look at the coaches poll. I'll put it on the screen right now.
First time I'm seeing it when you posted it today. Well, I'm going to be at Georgia, so I hope I could see you and everybody else. And Bama's going to beat them, so that kind of knocks this poll out. I think Ohio State. I still want Ford. I want to talk about that in the future because they took our safety. Oregon, they don't play defense. Texas's defense might be a little suspect. So, but listen, this is positive rat poison.
Yeah.
And I like where we are. I love what you said about ND. So overrated.
Oh, God.
Ole Miss, they could be on the underrated. They're going to be good. They got all those. They got that Nolan. Remember, we talked about this. They got all those. They had the checkbook out when everybody was poaching us. But you're right. Penn State, Michigan, Florida State. Come on. But yeah, I couldn't be happier to put Alabama at fifth. It'll just give them something. How good will they feel when we knock off Georgia? They'll be ecstatic. So, it's so good to be back, Kyle.
No, it feels good to be back for sure.
I can't believe how fast it's going.
It goes by, man. We got school starting tomorrow. I mean, it's here. Coaches polls out. I mean, reverse rat poison. Yeah. Is there anything you want to hit on before I move to my next caller, Chris?
No, Kyle. Thank you for what you do. Thanks for being back. I'm glad you're back from vacation.
Yeah.
Roll Tide. Best to the undefeated.
Hell yeah.
We will talk soon, my friend.
All right, man. Take it easy. Tide. All right. That's my boy, Chris from New Jersey. We got two 865s battling inside the call queue. And again, this is the call-in line number is 205-850-1994 if you want to call in and rap with me this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I see some Fire Kirby Smart talk from Steven inside the comment box. That's hilarious. And I put some new emojis in too. So we're always updating the emojis. So if you're a fan funder, you can use emojis like I have like Auburn sucks. The sucks one seemed to like work really well. Fall suck. I think there's Auburn sucks too. Auburn's hyped up about their recruiting. I get it. You got to win games though, right? You got to win on the field. Good call from Chris in New Jersey. We go back to the phone lines. Here are the height and weights, and I'll take the next call. I think, let's see. We'll take this 865. We'll do it right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, it's Cody, man, up in Knoxville, Tennessee. How you doing?
Cody, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, and thank you so much, man. It's Tuesday. It's August 6th. We're feeling good. We're taking calls.
Yes.
Man, it's been a minute, man. So let me set the stage real quick.
I know.
So Cody, I always remember this, and I always got to say it when you call in. One time, Cody is so dedicated. One time he wanted to, you know what I'm about to say, right, Cody? One time Cody called.
I already know.
One time Cody called. He wanted to get on the show so bad. He was in the shower. Remember that Seinfeld episode where Kramer was trying to live like in the shower? So Cody is, and this is interesting too. He loves his Longhorns, but he lives in Tennessee, in Knoxville, right? He's still up in Knoxville? Yep. And I won't tell him at the apartment complex you're living at. I'm just kidding, man. Oh, man.
It's so funny. I had somebody, Kyle, I had somebody say, hey, man, I've heard of don't drop the soap, but you're don't drop the phone, man.
Oh, man, it's been a minute, man. So thanks for calling in, man. What's up?
Talk to you. Yeah, it's good to talk to you again, brother. And I'm so excited. I mean, I cannot believe we're already in August. Camp's back in, and God, here we go.
Feels good. What have been kind of your early observations of, we've had 4 days of camp, we're chewing on it, and we've had some good takeaways so far. I mean, look, this is a whole different system under Coach Kadyn Proctor. You could talk to all the coaches. There's a lot of returning talent coming back. And the thing is, no coach that has ever taken over Alabama at the head coaching position has had more you have an instant opportunity for greatness from the jump. Nick Saban had to rebuild. Yep. Right. All the coaches who were before Coach Saban, they had, to try to rebuild and put things back together. He's stepping into Bugatti or whatever you want to call it. And all you have to do is keep it on the lanes.
Right. Keep it in between the lanes. Now, here's what I'll say, Colin. I'll always keep it 100 with you, man. I mean that. So for me, as a person who, I follow Texas, that's my team. However, I love what Alabama has built. I think it is to be emulated and copied as much as possible. You look at greatness and you just say, hey, that's the standard. We want to make that the standard. I want Texas. I mean, we took a bunch of Alabama coaches for that reason. But what I'm looking at with Alabama, and this is me keeping it, transparent. You're exactly right. That point is well taken. Kalen DeBoer's walking into, an amazing foundation laid. The one thing that I think is also rat poison is to think, just look what he's going to do with what he has now. Now, can he do that? Absolutely. But my thing is I'd be cautious, because where Kalen likes to have his quarterback stay in that pocket and go through a progression. Well, what on the flip side of this, what's cool about Kalen DeBoer is he crafted that offense to Michael Penix to where it just allowed Michael Penix to flourish. And that's what I'm excited to see with Alabama. I think that if he can craft his offense to allow Jalen Milroe to flourish, Jalen Milroe will just – I think he'll win the Heisman. I think that he will have a monster year if he comes in and says, here's the keys, Jalen, what do you want to do? Much like a Greg Davis back in the day when Vince Young said, okay, enough of what I've done before, what can we do around you?
Yeah.
I think that Jalen Milroe having that kind of control to say, hey, here's what I'm good at, here's what I thrive in, coach, let's build something around that. I think Alabama could come out of the chute 100 miles an hour. But if it's clunky, if it's a little bit like, week in, week out, we see a struggle against, for a half or 3 quarters against this team, and then they go on the road and it's clunky for the first 4 or 5 weeks, then you may catch an L, in early October. But I still don't. I mean, at the end of the day, Kyle, that doesn't matter, because what matters is that top 12. That's what matters.
Yeah.
And I think an Alabama team that gets through the season in the top 12 is going to be a difference maker and a dangerous team in a playoff. And I would not, as a Texas fan, want to play Alabama in a playoff. And I'll just tell you real quick, Oklahoma at 16, Oklahoma's in the top 16 because of reputation. Oklahoma, and this is not just hating on Oklahoma, they have been given a murderer's row of a schedule. So Oklahoma will be lucky to be in the top 25 by the time this regular season is finished this year.
You know what? I like your point on the line with Cody calling in from Knoxville. He's a Texas fan. Always has good chatter. I appreciate the call in. I appreciate everybody watching. Please take a minute and hit the thumbs up. It goes a long way. Super chats appreciated. And think about becoming a member of the Undefeated for only $2.99. One of the things that I think you hit on is okay, so Kalen DeBoer takes over Jalen Milroe. Now, is he the type of quarterback that is designed for Coach Kalen DeBoer's system? Maybe not. I mean, Michael Penix and Jalen Milroe were very different quarterbacks. Now, with that said, I think I kind of go back to like what happened when Cliff Kingsbury was the OC at Texas A&M, right? And he was trying to like mold Johnny Manziel. And then when he finally was just like, you know what, go just lead this team, like take over, unleash him. Because I don't think that Jalen Milroe's ever just been unleashed. Like he still hasn't even ran the football as well as he could run, right? His deep ball percentage is there. I mean, he's the best player, in my opinion, in college football when he has the football in his hands. But I don't think he's been unleashed just yet. So I think considering this season, if I'm Kalen DeBoer, I'm designing the weapons around Jalen Milroe. And I mean, you saw the footage of Kendrick Law. You have Jeremy Bernard, who we're not talking about. You have Kobe Prentice. We're not talking about him. Emmanuel Henderson. We're not talking about him. You have Ryan Williams, of course. You have all these different type of weapons. Plus, you have those running backs. You look at the offensive line. It's set up to be a prolific offense if you, I think, just unleash Jalen Milroe and just kind of let him just run with this offense. The offensive line should be much better. So let me ask you real quick. All this stuff is positive for Alabama. You know, every single year at this point in time, everybody's undefeated, this and that. What's kind of the chatter with Texas? Is this their season? I mean, Steve Sarkisian's been there for a while. And what's interesting too is Steve Sarkisian he's beat Nick Saban, but he hasn't beat Kalen DeBoer, and neither has Dan Lanning. Yeah. What's kind of the chatter at Texas? I mean, is this their year? I mean, someone said to me that they don't believe in Quinn Ewers. He's a quality quarterback. I mean, shoot. The guy has a lot of experience. I mean, what's kind of the chatter around Texas? I mean, is this their year? I mean, is that what Longhorn fan? I mean, I'm sure they're thinking that. They're in the top 4, but what's kind of the pulse in Austin?
I think that Texas is they're going to benefit greatly on the exact timing of where they are currently and the trajectory that they're going into with the SEC. Now, that may be a 1-year, trajectory. That may be a sustained 2 to 3, 4-year trajectory. But what my point is that Texas is benefiting greatly from Sark having 2 to 3 years, ramping up to this. He from day one said we are going to build a team that is SEC competitive. Mm-hmm. Before that, it was even really on the map. And so what Sark knew coming from the SEC is that that's who we're going to have to compete with. So Texas this year is really to compete this year. And so, Kyle, I'll be honest. I think that they're going to have a successful year in that. I think that they could expect to have a basement of 3 losses and a ceiling of, I'm going to speak with my head here rather than my heart. I think their ceiling is 10 wins, and I think their basement is 9 wins. I think they're going to be just over that 9.5. Mm-hmm. And if they do that, they'll be in the playoff. They may not play for the SEC championship, and Coach Sark would say, well, yeah, our goal is to win a championship, and that's what he should say. But as a fan, all I care about is getting 1 through 12, and I think Texas is built to get into the playoff this year. And so whether or not they win a conference championship, if they go on the road and beat I'll tell you what a lot of it hinges upon is Michigan week 2. If they go in, much like we did week 2 last year against Alabama, and made a statement, said Texas is on the map again, guys. If they can go into Ann Arbor week 2 and make another statement, I think that this year you're going to see a very competitive SEC between Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. I think Ole Miss is going to be good, and I think Missouri, because of their schedule, is going to be up there. But I really think the upper echelon is not 4, it's 3. It's Alabama, Georgia, and Texas. And if Alabama is up in that echelon, that means Kalen DeBoer hit, and it's good times in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the call, Cody. Thank you so much, man. Hit me up anytime. It's really good to talk with you, and I can't wait to continue to dissect this season. And all eyes, honestly, like I'm excited to watch Texas this coming season, as we all are. And I know, for example, like Georgia goes, they play Alabama, they play Texas, they play Ole Miss. Like last year's schedule for Georgia was a sleepwalker. And, I looking at Texas' schedule. We'll do schedules another time. I like Texas' schedule, and I think it bodes well for them to get to the SEC championships. Same thing with Ole Miss. I mean, if you look to Ole Miss, I mean, they have a schedule that, you know, could propel them to number one. But I appreciate you, Cody, and I'll catch up with you soon, man.
You got it, Kyle. Thanks, bro.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, we'll go back to Angel and Pigeon Forge up next. Have a quick update. This is coming from this is AK Deer, who you're watching right here. So let me get this ready. Chad Simmons, all right, Chad Simmons of On3 is reporting that things are still going really well with AK Deer, who is a top target for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Okay, this is just in. You can read it on On3 Sports. Chad Simmons, one of the best in the business when it comes to recruiting. I don't know why he hasn't pulled the trigger at this point in time. I'm not really concerned about AK Deer, why he hasn't committed. I think a decision of this magnitude is really important. Remember, he was committed to Ole Miss. Maybe he just wants to see some games. Maybe he wants to see, you know, how the offense is run here at the University of Alabama. Maybe he wants to see how the running backs are utilized. I mean, that's okay. He was here for the recruiting cookout. You saw him. He said, whatever makes mama happy. I'm sure Alabama gave him the red carpet treatment and kind of showed him, you know, how the running backs are going to be utilized. But, you know, and I continue to press on this. Look, I think he will eventually be in this class. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't heard a lot about Turbo Rogers, Alabama's, you know, current committed running back, who's now in Carver out of Montgomery. He was at the IMG Academy, but I still feel that things will bode well. But there's a good update today from Chad Simmons regarding AK Deer. I think at some point in time he will commit. I don't know when. I wouldn't rush it. I mean, if you want to rush a decision on a 17-year-old, no. Like, make a good decision that can benefit you, because you know what? I think rushed commitments lead to decommitments, right? And I think that, like, hey, Todd, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Think about it. Like, make a good decision so you can be committed to that decision. I think a lot of these guys who are flipping back and forth is because he rushed into his decision. In Alabama, I mean, what they have going on, I mean, you guys saw the Lang documentary. I mean, this place is built for greatness. And the running backs under Coach Robert Gillespie, who's an amazing coach, can do an absolute amazing job with these running backs. So just be patient on AK Deer. I think it's going to work out for Alabama's benefit. But this is the update coming in. Again, if you want to read the context of the article, you can go to On3, look up Chad Simmons. The guy does an amazing job. And, yeah, that's a good point too, Todd. I mean, maybe because it hasn't gone public, maybe he is there are such things as silent commitments. I don't know. So just be patient. And that's kind of the update on AK Deer, the top running back out of Mississippi, who was here for the recruiting barbecue. And, yeah, exactly. What's up, The Moon? I see you inside the comment box, right? A rush commitment leads to the transfer portal. Make a solid decision that you can stick with. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for rapping with me. And we will go to the phone lines, and we will go to Angel out in Pigeon Forge. Angel, what's up, my man? It's been a minute, man. Thank you so much for being patient. The calling line is 205-850-1994. Angel, what's up, man? Thank you very much for being here, and welcome on in the show, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. I have a couple of things with the coaches poll here. I mean, first and foremost, the coaches poll don't mean nothing until the season starts.
Yeah.
However, though, I really believe that Alabama's at number 4, Texas at 3, and swap Oregon at 5. And because you know, last year Texas beat Alabama. Yes, that really did happen. That was true. Oregon, they lost to Coach DeBoer twice. So I mean, I can't really trust Oregon. Oregon is just, you know, sure, they're going to the Big Ten. It's going to be even tougher for them, but they're at number 5. And you can also add them at the overrated too as well, because I really believe they're overrated because, you know, they really haven't done much in a couple of years, except for make to playoff a couple of times, but they haven't won anything. So, especially in the Pac-12 they had, and Phil, you know, Uncle Phil Knight trying to buy a championship before he dies, because he can't get nothing, you know. And what's your thoughts on that? Do you really think that Oregon is overrated and they should probably be added to that list, and them at number 4 instead of Texas at 4?
I don't know. I mean, look, if any of you saw me play NCAA football, the game I streamed the first season, and I got punched in the mouth by Oregon. Okay, I lost 35-32, but the problem was Dylan Gabriel was like a cheat code on the game. He was 17 of 18, but what I realized in playing the silly game was, they have weapons at the wide receiver position. However, they're not playing in the Pac-12 this year. They're playing in a competitive conference that's going to be ultra challenging for them, and I think that they better come with it on the defensive side of the ball. Dan Lanning has a lot of confidence in himself, and he should. He's a great up-and-coming coach. I think he's done a lot. He hasn't won a championship, but he has a lot of recruiting momentum, and as you said, with all the Nike money behind Oregon, they can pretty much do whatever they want, but that has to translate to wins on the field. So I think for now, Oregon is certainly a team worth watching. But again, as I said to Cody, who's a fan of Texas, Dan Lanning is 0-2 against Kalen DeBoer. So is Steve Sarkisian, right? So that's, and if you kind of replay that in your head, that's amazing, because those are, when you look to like the next wave of coaches coming up in college football, who are the ones you think of? Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, you don't really even, before Kalen DeBoer came to Alabama, like you didn't really put him in that category, but Greg Byrne did a great job understanding, look, this is another guy that it can be lumped into that category. So look, Oregon, the stakes are high for them, but the Big Ten, just like the SEC, going to be a gauntlet to win. And it's not the Pac-12. Look, Alabama, the difference is with Alabama and Georgia, and the teams that have been in the SEC, they understand the grind of the SEC. Alabama is the only team. Remember in 2020 when they went through the SEC gauntlet, SEC only, and they won a national championship. They were perfect. No other team is used to a weekly grind like you're about to see in college football. Now, Oregon's schedule, I think it's a little bit light. It bodes well for them, but their time will come, and we'll see how they do. But I think are they a top 5 team? Probably. But, we'll see how they deal with the gauntlet of the Big Ten. What else you got, Angel?
Oh, yeah. Yes, and I see these other teams on here as well. It seems pretty good, but Kadyn Proctor looks pretty good as well, man. Like, he's been working pretty hard, to earn his trust back from his teammates. And I get it. When you're young, you make dumb decisions, but you can learn from the mistakes that, people had or whatever. But I really do believe Kadyn Proctor is going to be unleashed as far as the offensive line goes. Mm-hmm. I really think he's going to prosper enough, because he did say the grass wasn't always greener at Iowa, and probably because Iowa, he probably was there for the bag. Let's be honest, most of these players want the bag now. And Caleb Downs, it really don't bother me no more that he left. If you don't want to be here, you can leave. And he's probably gonna learn that too when the playoffs start, and he's like at home while Alabama's advancing in the playoffs. Because I want Alabama to play Ohio State in the playoffs again. Mm-hmm. I really want that to happen. And watching, on the sideline and watch Alabama beat Ohio State to get that get back, because I really do believe that. And I'm not sure if he was bashing against Alabama or whatever, against Alabama or whatever, when he had an interview where he said something about that, and that got me mad a little bit. But let's just be honest, these kids nowadays, they just want the money. And sometimes they don't want the championship, they just want to get the money and set up for life. And that's fine and all, but you should really, change your goals, go for bigger things, I mean, wouldn't you agree with that? Just chase bigger dreams and goals instead of just chasing the bag?
I mean, and I think eventually college football will get parameters around it. When the universities are able to directly pay the players, that will be another thing that we'll have to go through. Right now, I think some people are chasing the bag, and I think sometimes the people in these kids' corners are making the decision instead of the kid. Right? I mean, I call it a kid. I mean, if you're 17 years old, you're still a kid to me. And I think 18, you're grown, but you still, have big decisions to make. Regarding the Caleb Downs thing, look, I mean, the guy is unbelievable. I think he's going to flourish at Ohio. I think he flourished anywhere. He's just that type of a player. I mean, he was one of Alabama's best players last year. You hear what NFL draft analysts say about Caleb Downs. He probably would have been a top 10 pick from his true freshman season. He's just a unique individual. He goes to Ohio State, and Ohio State will do well with him. And I saw him returning some punts, and he looks great.
They got no excuses.
Yeah, that's another guy. Like, I saw some odds for coaches to be fired. Ryan Day was up there for Ohio State. Like, what is Ohio State's like? They have to win. Like, I think Ohio State has more pressure to win a championship game than anyone else in college football. I'm serious. Like, they spent all that money in the transfer portal. They have the players, right? Like, this is like they have no excuses. Yeah, they have no excuses.
Yeah.
And they have, committed right now Naheem Oford. I mean, they're recruiting at a high level. They got all the main players. Ryan Day has to win a championship. I think that he has the most pressure.
Yeah, he got no excuse.
Billy Napier too, man. That Florida schedule that Florida has, they play everybody in the top 20.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. What else you got, Angel?
Yeah, I recently I did see the Coach DeBoer's press conference. He seems pretty confident in this offense, and I really do believe that Jalen, man, he's come a long way. I'll tell you what, I think he's going to win the Heisman this year. Against a couple other finalists, probably like Jalen Gabriel and some other players. But I really think Jalen is the best quarterback right now, currently in college football. That can do both, being a dual threat of throwing the ball and passing the ball, which he's got a pretty nice deep ball. And I believe Alabama's going to be in the top 12, no doubt, because Alabama is known to win the big games and championships. And don't count out Alabama. That's what you should never do. And that's what happened in 2017 when Auburn beat Alabama and Georgia. And the next thing you know, Alabama's got in the playoffs over Wisconsin because Alabama's a much deeper team than Wisconsin that year. And lucky enough, we won the title in 2017 on 2nd and 26. I can't believe that.
Yeah, that was, I
still remember that day because I was at that game.
I know. So was I. I was on the sidelines of that game. I was like, I couldn't. I mean, the emotions that we've gone through at that stadium in Atlanta, man, I haven't. I mean, those raise your hand if you've had heavy emotions in a game in Atlanta watching Alabama football play. I mean, man, those have been so. Like, I mean, the other one that stands out is when Tua got hurt and Jalen came in and won the SEC championship the year after.
Jalen,
man. People were crying. People were. It was like a movie. People were crying.
Yeah.
That was wild. All right, Angel. I appreciate you calling, man. It's really good to talk with you. And I'm on at 9 in the mornings, so hit me up, man. Appreciate it.
I'll get back in sync.
All right, yeah, no doubt, man.
Man, you have a great day, man.
All right, man. Roll Tide to you.
Good.
My boy Angel out in Pigeon Forge. I don't know if you guys saw this earlier today. This is the field, and this is Nick Saban's field. All right, this is Nick Saban's field. A lot of people were kind of upset that they didn't name the stadium after him. I was mad that they didn't name the city after him. Right, Tuska Saban, something like that. Look, a couple things. What he's done, like, I live in Tuscaloosa, okay? I'm here. What he was, right, Chris? You with me? Like, oh, yeah. So, look, what he's done for the economy here, man. Good morning, Kimberly. I appreciate you being here, right? They should have named the city after him. They were like, we're going to name the city after Saban. Because what he's done is this city, come buy a house over here in Tuscaloosa. I bought a house here in 2017. I'm holding on to that baby tight, right? Just because, man, you can't. It's hard. And the city's growing. Now the students are back. Good luck going to, like, Target. And you should see our little downtown, like Chuck's, and, try to get into one of those spots. You can't. But the field looks amazing. Garrett, what would be some cities? Let me ask you, if you were to rename Tuscaloosa, Saban City, could you do that? Okay, so the field looks amazing. It looks great. And it's because they have to stretch out the field because, they expect to be in the playoffs. And in this format, you could host a playoff game. Okay, earlier on the show. This is the call-in line number. Chris, what's up? I appreciate you. Bama Hater, there's a number. I'll be on probably till 10 a.m. So I'm still trying to adjust my live schedule. So it's going to be at 9 in the morning. And I do that because I have my kids. I have to get them off to school. I have to get my workout in. I have to edit the show. I have to be in the right mindset to, I want to see the names. If you were to rename the city after Saban, what would it be? I think Saban City, right? I don't know. Tuska Saban, Saban Lusa. How about that? Sabanville, Saban Lusa. I like Saban Lusa. Earlier, I provided an update on AK Deer. That's just out. On all your recruiting sites, you can go read an update. Hasn't committed or anything. Basically, just Alabama's still clearly in play, and I think Alabama's still clearly the leader. Put a video on that. St. Nick, Alabama. Saban Lusa. Yeah, I like that. And here are the heights and weights of the guys in case you missed it. Some updated information. Bubba Hampton up at the top. God, get here at 175 and you put on 19 pounds. Man, that's a lot. Within just a couple, because he got here, he was a spring enrollee. So he's had some time. Keon Keeley putting on 35 pounds is wild. Casey Poe putting on 32 pounds. Tyler Booker dropping 27. Goat City. Yes, that's it. Yeah, you got it. Goat City. I like it. Yeah. Look at Keeley, man. Whew. Okay, so so in case you missed it, yesterday I talked literally just about the defense. So I went over the 4-2-5 and kind of explained the different positions. So for example, you see the bandit right here, that's going to be the position where you see Keon Keeley. And then you're like, well, what's the depth chart look like? Well, I got you. Hang tight. When you go to the bandit position, right? And remember, I cook up all these graphics myself. That's what I'm doing. If you're ever wondering, what are you doing? I'm doing this. I'm cooking up graphics. And these graphics take a long time. I didn't go to school for graphic, design. So I have to kind of put some stuff, together in the editing and blah, blah, blah. And if you look at kind of this bandit position where it's going to be, right, a player that's not quite 300 pounds, but is still, athletic enough to put their hand in the dirt and get some pressure on the quarterback, Keon Keeley is probably going to be your guy, right? Is going to be your guy. You'll have LT Overton. I listed LT and Jamarian Lathan at first team because I think each of these guys is athletic enough to be a first team guy. And I would imagine you see Keeley at some point in time. There was the recent footage when Keon Keeley's getting after Ty Simpson, right? That big old paw coming down. So that's kind of the bandit depth. The defensive tackle depth, and I went over this yesterday, so I won't spend too much time on it. Tim Keenan, Tim Smith, Jaheim Otis, I listed all those guys as first team as well. Look, there can only be a couple of them on the field at one time, but what I'm trying to illustrate through my graphics is that Alabama, that's why Coach Saban always got pissed off about the depth chart, because this isn't high school football. You just don't have 11 starters, right? Yeah, C-Dub, LT was sick, dude. It could have been he ate some bad food or something like that. I think he could have been probably dehydrated. I don't think we ever found out what it was, but it was just a day he was maybe needed some electrolytes or something like that. But he's back out there. But Coach Saban would get mad because it's not, you just don't have one starter. Alabama is so deep that they have multiple starters, which will benefit this team greatly this season because you will need every single guy within this gauntlet of a season. Best thing in Tuscaloosa is Krispy Kreme on McFarland. No, you know what? You know what place a lot of people sleep on? A restaurant. I sleep on it too. Full Moon Barbecue. I'm getting hungry. Full Moon Barbecue is really good. And their portions, they're large. You're gonna get your money's worth. That Full Moon Barbecue, that white barbecue sauce that they have. It's good. Full Moon Barbecue, don't play. And it kind of gets slept on. Do you agree with that if you've been over here? Full Moon Barbecue, I don't know why we sleep on it. All right. We talked about bandit depth. Here's the Wolf's depth. So when you talk about Wolf, think about a Dallas Turner, Chris Broswell, right? William Anderson. That's what this position is in this defense. Now you have Hugh Robinson, Keanu Quay-Russo. I listed all of those guys as first team because I think they could be first team guys. You see what I'm saying, Chris? Full moon, dude. Yeah, full moon. It's hot, man. And then Yanzi Pierre and then Noah Carter. Someone on one of my videos yesterday was like, because I said, and I always say, I still believe in Yanzi Pierre. And people were like, man, you still believe in him? He's only been here 2 years. The expectations are crazy. I was like, great point. Because sometimes I feel that if Full Moon Barbecue sucks, David. Which one? Did you go to the one here in Tuscaloosa? Oh, man. Because I feel that if a player doesn't get on the field, like within a year or two, we write them off. What if we would have done that to Mac Jones? What if we would have done that to Chris Broswell? Guys who stayed there, the guys who were patient. Devontae Smith, right? Who I feel, and in my opinion, is if not the best wide receiver. And I know I'm probably causing a firestorm because people love Julio, Amari Cooper, the OG, who started kind of the rideouts, way back. They weren't called the rideouts, but you get what I'm saying. I just like the fact that he waited his time, came back, because people were shocked that he came back, and look at the season that he had. He won the Heisman Trophy. Bama depth at defensive back. My point is we can't write off players if they don't get on the field in year 1, 2, even 3. Let these players develop. Damani Jackson and Xavier Brown. Remember a couple days ago, it reported that Xavier Brown, he does have a cast on his hand. It doesn't seem like it's serious at all. He wasn't punching the bags clearly because of his hand, but he was still out doing the repetitions. Baller as a freshman. Same thing with Jalen Mbakwe, who's now at 200 pounds. Deshaun Jones is a transfer in from Wake Forest. The inside linebacker depth, we talked about this. I mean, look at that entire stacked room. Deontay Lawson, Jahar Campbell, Justin Jefferson, Jeremiah Alexander, Justin Okoronkwo. Put him at, third team. I don't know if, Justin Okoronkwo probably, a couple seasons away from seeing the field, or maybe next year. I have no idea, but hearing really good things about him. I mean, Kane Womack the other day said that he did an amazing job. And then those first three, man, there's even some there's even some formations with those three out on the field at the same time. Safety depth, Malachi Moore, Keon Sabb, Devontae Smith, King Mack, Red Morgan. King Mack be a safety, Red Morgan be the Husky. The Husky in this defense is the player on defense that covers the slot wide receiver. All right. 200 watching. Can we get 200 thumbs up? I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, on this fine Tuesday morning, and I hope you guys are having a great morning as well. If you're new to the show, you can become a subscriber. If you want to support the show, $2.99 literally supports me. This is what I do for my livelihood, so I would really appreciate that. And think about supporting Bama Football on YouTube. If you missed it, these are the weight gains for this year. And, as Chris said, run the thumbs up on Bama Football on YouTube. Look, I got, some press conference interviews that I'll be loading today, practice footage, and more coverage as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you for joining my morning segment right here on Bama Football on YouTube. You can find me at 9 a.m. live. And as news happens, daily videos, daily content on everything Alabama football related right here on the channel that has 106,000 subscribers. You guys have seen the channel grow, and I appreciate you guys, rocking with me every single day right here on the channel. Please follow us I'm on TikTok, Twitter. Instagram is just a normal Instagram account, which I'm not posting on Instagram anymore. I just I still have Instagram. I just I don't know. I found myself spending a little bit too much time on Instagram, and I don't want to get sucked into that social vacuum, right? But I do post. I do run the social media for our workout group, which is F3. I've talked about that. Fitness, faith, and fellowship each day, which I'm a really big advocate of. Mental health and all that stuff. All right, M Champion, I see you, man. Full Moon's open face sandwich is good. You know what? I'm getting hungry. I'm thinking about all the food spots here in Tuscaloosa, so I better get going. But I appreciate you guys being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Nickaloosa. That's a good name for a city for sure. I appreciate you guys being here this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Have an amazing Tuesday. This is Kyle Henderson and Ken. And if you guys can do me one favor, drop a roll tide inside the comment box. I appreciate you, fam. Have a beautiful day. Look for more news as it happens right here on Bama Football on